don't tell you.
What they don't tell you.
What they don't tell you.
Podcast.
Real news about real topics. That's what I like about this show.
Or mode for the most sincerest expression.
So it's truth and jest. I pride myself on saying real
What they don't tell you podcast.
People don't even notice I'm saying.
I'm just using your gifts as a vehicle.
They can feel it, but I don't think they really know. But they feel it, because when people come up to me, they say it. I love that.
I was looking for advice from people in the industry how to not have to compromise.
Ooh, boy, it's hard to be woke. What they don't tell you podcast.
How do I do this without having to compromise who I am? Whatever.
Hello, world, and welcome to another episode of What They Don't Tell You Podcast. We are your hosts, DJ Mifflin,
Keisha Williams,
and Keith Vance,
and we are the B Squad. Once again, BE standing for Black Entertainers who are telling you to be excellent, be entertained, and be enriched. We have another great show for you guys today. We want to thank you for joining us on Live 365, Anthem Tongue Radio. Once again, you can catch us 11 a.m. East Coast time, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. West Coast time, and 6 p.m. International. All right, so hold on. We got a show for you. B Squad is in the building.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Keith with that real spiel. You know we want to hear from you. Hit us up at WTDTY Global at Facebook.com.
My, where does the time go? It is that time. We want to hear what you're thankful for. So why don't you take a little time? We just want to hear from you.
All right, and we're back to the thankful segment on What They Don't Tell You podcast. We want to hear from you guys. Tell us what you're thankful for today.
Hi, this is Skylar from Marietta, Georgia, and I am thankful for my family, of course, having a job. I'm thankful for food, and of course, I am thankful for being alive.
I'm thankful for spending time with my family and having more time to do that.
What's up, everybody? My name is Tamika. Hey! I'm from Marietta, Georgia, and I would just like to say I'm so thankful to be able to be loved on and loved by close friends.
All right, thank you for those phone calls, guys. We appreciate it. All right, up next, Keisha with the business on What They Don't Tell You podcast. B Squad's in the building. Say B Squad.
B Squad.
Say it loud.
B
This is The Business with Keisha Williams.
This is Keisha Williams with The Business. Be enriched, be educated, and be excellent. The story I want to bring to you guys today is, it's one that happened a little while ago, but I just wanted to chat about it a little bit because I think that it didn't get the same attention that it maybe could have. Okay. So Amanda Seales left The Real, and for those of you who don't know, The Real is a daytime talk show, and it's been on for a while. And this is a situation where her contract was up. She decided not to renew. She didn't feel comfortable with being on the show because she felt like her voice couldn't be heard the way that she wanted to. She felt like she was kind of being muted the way she wanted to speak. Matter of fact, I'll just read a quote that she actually said. My contract is up, and I didn't renew it because I didn't feel good to my soul to be at a place where I cannot speak to my people the way they need to be spoken to, and where the people who are listening to me in disparaging ways are not being handled. And it's interesting because when all of this was happening, I feel like it was kind of like overshadowed by a lot of the things happening within, right. With the protests, with the riots and all of that. But to know that somebody felt like all of their creativity was stifled. And that their voice on a show that it is a talk show couldn't be heard. I just thought that was just kind of like really like a dynamic thing, enough for you to even like walk away from a project because it wasn't a good fit. And I'm just kind of curious if you guys have had any experiences where you just knew like this just ain't gonna work. It doesn't matter what you pay me, doesn't matter what amount of exposure I'm getting, it doesn't matter because this just doesn't work for me. Have y'all felt like
not on that level, but I've had experiences on projects where I was like, yeah, I can't do this. Only because it was just uncomfortable, because I feel like I was not saying better than it, but I felt like I was at a different level than what they were on, and the shit they were on was like not worth it.
Right, no, I get it.
You know what I'm saying?
That's kind of like the same thing with me. I won't say any names or nothing like that because I ain't trying to trash the person, but I actually got an opportunity to host a new comedy room in Marietta, and really after seeing how the person that approached me operated, how unorganized it was, how the promoting wasn't going on, and I just decided this, I'm good. Like, you cool, you do your thing, and the show doesn't even go on anymore.
Really?
Which I knew it wouldn't. I knew it was going to be very short-lived because he didn't put the effort into it that he was portraying.
Gotcha.
Okay.
And it's like, if you have to put a certain effort into running a comedy room, like especially with promotions and all that. If a place allows you to come in and say you can do a show here, you have to really bring the people in, especially if they give you one of the slower nights. It's your job to make sure you can fill that place up so they can say, okay, you've done such a good job. How about you do it on one of our busier nights?
Right.
And he didn't have the same drive as me, so I had to remove my name from it.
Right. Dang, that's crazy.
fair to say.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like with Amanda, it's kind of that Monique syndrome all over again. Like, these women are too
Monique
strong and
syndrome.
too powerful for these people in the industry. That they're such strong women.
You're
such,
talking about their voices, like
Yeah.
how
Okay.
outspoken
they are. That they don't know what to do with them.
No, I get
Yeah.
it.
And I was like, and you also gotta, it's also hard, I think, just in general, just being a strong female voice anyway.
Right.
And I mean, one of the things that she was saying is that I'm not in a space where I can, as a full black woman, have my voice, and my coworkers also have their voices, and where the people at the top are not respecting the necessity for black voices to be at the top too.
See, and we gotta
And
we
that's
gotta
really
remember,
similar to kind of like what Monique was going through.
and we gotta
Like what you said,
remember,
some of the
it's a
things
lot
they
of
talked about.
fakeness in this business.
I don't know if Monique was going through the same thing similar as this because she's being more stifled. Like, they're saying you can't say certain things. Monique was like, y'all ain't paying me enough.
Well, because she was also complaining about how they were putting out there that she was difficult to work with on set. And she was saying, no, it's not that I'm not difficult to work with. I don't take no nonsense. When you're disrespecting other workers on set, when you're disrespecting people who work hard on the set that aren't actors, that are just crew, I have a problem with that. So because I stand up for people like that, I'm difficult to work with.
Okay. Now that
You see what I'm saying?
That makes more sense, yes.
And the same thing, like, so trying to stand up and be a voice has turned into people stifling your voice.
Right.
Which is really, like, what are you supposed to do? Like, that's a double-edged sword. Like, it goes both ways. Like, you should be able to, and you're in a place to be an advocate, but now you can't even rightfully advocate for yourself.
But that's
now
like you said,
because you're
you can't
supposed to,
go
what they say,
against them.
shut up and play ball.
Wow.
Well, I mean, it's like you said, Keisha, you can't go against the mainstream.
Right.
Like,
That's
do you
true.
think you can change the flow of this? This is mainstream.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
the stream's going this way. It has been for this long. You don't get to come in here and say, oh, the stream's going to go this way now. That's not how it works.
And we're not saying it's fair, but it's the way the game has been played for so long that you're supposed to come in, do your job, and go
Shut
home.
up and dribble.
Right.
Know your role.
And if you're
Stay
gonna
in your
network
lane.
with people, you network with them. You show that even if you don't like them, deal with it. You gotta
Show
you gotta
those
play that
pearly
fakeness.
whites.
Yes. And when I used to live in LA, that's one of the things I used to hate about some of the people that I would meet out there. I was like, yo, you guys are so freaking fake, yo. You know what I'm saying? I used to hate that. And I was like, that was the difference for me out there, was like, I can't deal with that fakeness, man. I know that's not good for me.
Well, I mean, it was a show called The Real, and I guess she had to keep it real for what was best for her and keep it moving.
She said, these bitches ain't real. No.
Exactly.
Now, wait, don't say that, because that was one of the things. I don't want people walking away from this thinking that she had an issue with the cast.
Oh, no,
It
she
wasn't the
didn't. No,
cast,
it
so it
wasn't the
wasn't
cast.
them. You
Right.
know, and keep in mind,
There's the
like,
powers that be behind it.
yeah, and I was like, I mean, she's also a person who gets attacked a lot.
Right.
In social media
Right.
and just a lot of the
Yeah, they
projects
be-
that she
yo,
does.
they be
People
curry
be
for
on
her
her.
on Instagram.
They come for her
Yeah,
on a
like-
regular. And she didn't feel supported. She didn't feel protected. And it just wasn't a good space. And, I mean, for anybody who feels like that, I mean, that's something that you're going to you have to go through in the industry.
Right.
You know, you have to figure out, we talked about your non-negotiables, but just always, like, know who you are at heart. So I commend her.
She played it right.
Yeah,
I think she played
I
it right.
commend her,
Mad
because
respect
it's
to
not
her.
Great job,
easy
Amanda.
Mad respect.
to walk
We
away
got love for you out
from,
here.
you know,
Amanda
such
Seals,
something,
big
such a,
up.
And you
cushion.
fine too, girl.
Wow.
Is she
okay.
single?
Wow,
Okay,
he
shoot-
just
shoot
shot
your
his
shot.
shot
I'm gonna
right
shoot
quick.
my shot,
So
boy. I
on
like
that
a girl in
note-
charge.
Damn.
This is
Man, the Seals,
Keisha
holla at your boy. I
Williams
ain't got what they
wrapping
got,
it
but
up
holla at your boy.
for the bee's nest. Be enriched, be educated, be excellent, and good luck, DJ. Shoot
Thank you,
your shot.
appreciate
Shoot your
it.
shot.
All right. Thank you, Keisha, for that bee's nest. All right, up next, hot topic. Amanda, get at your boy. We'll be back.
Wow.
B Squad's in the building. What's up, listeners? Don't forget, you can check out all our episodes on YouTube on our WTDTY Podcast YouTube channel. That's WTDTY Podcast on YouTube. Check it out. All right, and we're back on What They Don't Tell You podcast. Now we're at the hot topics, guys. Today's topic is origin stories. Now, you know we actually do a series of origin stories. And today, we're going to talk about the origin of screen trades. In other words, how do I want to define screen trades? Let me see. Basically, when we say screen trade, we're talking about screenplays. The writing of screenplays, which is like the beginning of the first process of starting a production. Is first we got to get the script right? Right. Then we have to get it funded, or we have to get someone to pick it up. And when I say origins of a screen trade, is I want people to understand the concept of how the business is, how they deal with getting productions sold, or how it affects what actors are put into the movie, how it affects what crews are being used, how it affects on what becomes a Hollywood film or what is considered an independent film. Also, how the barter system works and affects to this, how goods and services affects this, how sexual favors affect this, and how what we call the bloodline, and we're not so much saying being related, because that's part of it, but also your history of who brought you in the industry. Okay. That could also help you go far in the industry because of who you're connected to.
Or hinder you.
Help or hinder you.
Yeah, that's true too.
Depending on who brings you in.
Exactly. Yeah. So to start it off, do you guys have had any experiences seeing any of this before we get started? Like, do you guys ever experience this before? Seeing how it works with seeing favors, or seeing favoritism, or seeing how if you give me this, I'll hook you up on this film. Or if you give me this amount of money, I'll put these people in your film for you.
Yeah, so that in exchange for.
Right.
I was like, so there is something that I'm gonna say before I say that. Like, I almost like hearing you say that, and like as you're defining kind of like screen trade, it made me think of currency. Right. Thinking of the screenplay as the currency that flows through and makes all of this business happen. Yes. And honestly, it really is, because I'm like, it's the origin of the film, but all of this all these other avenues happen because of it. Right. So when you're thinking about things that impact what works for you, what doesn't work for you, what's okay, what's not okay. I was saying this earlier about the show Hollywood, and it's a TV show that's on Netflix now, and I find it to be just fascinating and really good, and it's supposed to take place in an earlier time period, but when you are looking at what happens, I mean, everyone already kind of knows about the casting couch, but there are some scenes in it where it is men that go in to meet with an agent, a potential person that they're going to be working with, and then they are told basically, in order to get this role, you have to offer up sexual favors. Wow. Right? Yeah. So I was like, it's almost like when you're saying back end deals, like it means something totally different now. Yeah. Right? Because it's like, if you want to get put on, I am the God that can anoint you and make you anything. Wow. It'll be my name that gets you to the next level, or dirt. Literally, those are the two options. He was like, no one will ever know you existed.
Damn.
Or,
wow,
you can do this for me.
Damn, it's that bad.
In order to go. Yeah, I mean, and I was like, and I think it's interesting because some people will probably look at that and be like, oh, it's just cinema. It's just a story.
No, that's you. I hate when actresses and actors say that. And they're like, oh, it's just a role, or I was just, doing this for, my character. Right. I'm sorry. Some things come down to your morals. And I'm not saying anything's wrong with being gay, but if you're a heterosexual man and the only way you can get a role is that you have to play a gay man, or you have to do sexual acts with another man,
right?
To
well,
get
in this
the
case,
role.
you're talking about like on screen, because this
On
is stuff
screen.
that's happening to you really in
in
real life.
real life.
Yeah, no, this I'm not
So
talking
you're
about
saying-
on
No, this
screen.
is not a movie, dog. This is not a
no,
movie, dog.
This is literally
This is
the
real.
exchange
Okay, wait a minute.
of power in
Remember
order
what she
for
said,
you to be
casting
able
couch?
to, yes.
This is kind of the
Pause
casting
that.
couch. Yeah.
Pause
Yeah,
that. So
no, I'm
what
not
you're-
talking about playing a role. I'm talking
Right.
about in order for you to
you to
even
get the
get the
role.
role.
Yes.
Someone telling you in order for you to sign with me an agent.
Okay.
Who can take your career to astronomical heights
Right.
because I'm that person,
Right.
right? I'm that G, right? I'm that
Okay.
person who could take you to that next
We
level.
might as well say it. The Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah,
That's
there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'll that definitely
That just
Right.
put that into
put
perspective
it in
for
layman's
you.
terms.
Yes.
I mean, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, but
And it's
instead
very-
of male
it's-
to female, like it also happens male to
Male to
male.
male.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say it's
I mean,
both
one of the
sides now.
casting
It's
couch
not
is
just
a-
women, but it's men too.
So when they talk about
Yeah.
trade, those are the things they're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
like barter or sexual favors, bartering of goods and services,
Right.
Services rendered in exchange for.
Right.
So do you think that also causes a lot of favoritism? Like, one actor he'll do anything. It doesn't matter. He's
Yeah.
like, I'll do the whole room. And
Yeah.
then another actor's like, I'm only gonna do those two guys. And it's like, wait a minute.
Sorry, that was funny. It's like, I'm only gonna do those two. I'm not gonna do the other.
Not
four.
you, but these.
I'll do these
Right.
two
those
here,
okay,
and that's
okay.
it. After that, I'm done. I'm
But
going home. I gotta
guess
go to
what I'm
lunch.
asking is, does that put the guy that's like, I'll do everybody? They're like, no, bring Ted. He'll do everyone.
Well, I'm
Actually,
be
there
honest
was
with you,
something
it can
kind
hurt
of
you
similar.
too.
It was something kind of similar.
It's true, but also it can hurt you too because
now
if you're
you've
that
done
person,
everyone.
if that person, yeah, if you're
gonna
the
hurt
person
me.
that just, then I don't really need to put you anything. You're just gonna do whatever. You just want to be in the atmosphere. You just want to be in Hollywood. You don't really want no work. You just want to be here. So it comes to the point where you're not booking anything, but you are the slut of the town because you literally are just out here
Reputation.
giving up stuff. And for what? Nothing. You just want to say, oh, I know that guy or I know that girl.
I
But
mean,
it's
there's
like,
a whole industry for that if that's what you want to do.
yeah, true.
It's called porno.
It's called porno, but you'd be
Yeah,
surprised
but I
how.
heard men pornos, they do not get paid very well. They do some grimy
Well, that's a
stuff.
whole nother story there,
Okay.
big guy. That's a whole nother story. No, but honestly, but to top on to that, to bring it to another aspect, there was a documentary called "Seduced and Abandoned" in Cannes, by James Toback and Alec Baldwin. And I watched this documentary, and it was a very intriguing documentary because it kind of dabbled into about the look into the movie industry and what it does to the stars, and how stars are actually put in a position where it's like doing the NFL draft. I mean, NFL fantasy football, right?
Okay.
Where you sit there and you say, okay, they'll come into a room with millionaires, and see, a lot of people think that it's Fox or it's Paramount or just all these different production companies.
That's just where it's filmed.
That's just where it's filmed.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Not all the time. They're the ones funding it. See, the money also comes
so
from
the back end, the
millionaires,
financial
people who
back end.
have money that just want to invest in certain projects. Like,
Right.
I want to do stock, I want to do restaurants, but I want to do films. So they'll put their money to back these because they know they're going to get it on the back end, especially blockbuster films. So a lot of times at Cannes, these actual business deals are going on at the festivals. So while this week these films are being shown, there are times of the week where stars are coming in town or producers or directors are coming in town and meeting with these these rich and elite people in the business who have the money to say, hey, I got this film project. Here's the script. And we have this person and this person that are willing to jump on and be a part of this film. So in other words, hey, I have this film and I got Keisha and I got Keith. They're going to be the actors for this film. And the rich person could say, give me no. Instead of Keith, put DJ in it, and I'll give you $4 million. And it's like, wow.
What the hell Keith can't do? Jack can't do that.
But it doesn't matter what you
Right.
can do. It's just the fact that they like that person. I love this actress, or she's hot. put her in it. I can see her doing
They're
this.
able to make decisions like that because they're the ones that are actually
They got the
funding
money.
the project.
They got
also
the money.
keep in mind, these are not necessarily industry people.
No.
These are financial people. You've got the
So
money.
these could be bankers,
And you're just
people
just
like
make me happy.
oil tycoons. These could be millionaires that made their millions from like technology or something else, and they just are investing their money in
so
the
it's
film
like,
industry.
Listen, I'll give you the money, but you just got to do this for me.
Yeah, one gentleman.
Why
his
do you
name.
look at me like that? Don't do that.
But actually, one guy
works.
on the documentary, one dude, they went into the hotel and went to one of the suites to do the meeting. The suite was named after the guy they were meeting.
Wow.
So it was in the hotel
He
where
said,
they had
I'm
a suite
kind of a
named
big
after
deal.
him. Yeah.
Kind of a big deal.
I was like, yo, this is crazy. But what it shows is that in the end, it's not so, like we said before, it's not so much always about talent. It's really about who you know, what you know, and what you're willing to do. And I think that's the scary part about it, man, because a lot of times we put in, like me, a lot of actors have put a lot of work into perfecting their craft, studying their craft, getting the knowledge and understanding it. And then at the end of the day, when you get there, you're looking at someone across the room who never took a class in their life, but they're the star of one of the show, and you're like, how in the hell did they get there? I've had this, and I'm not saying this particular scenario, but I've had one time an actual celebrity actor had, came to me and he confided in me and was like, it just makes me feel weird being on set. And I was like, why? He said, because I'm these people who are working around me, some of the crew, some of the actors, these people work their ass off to get to a level of where I didn't have to do shit for this. I just was a natural talent that just got on because I was at the right place at the right time. And this wasn't even something I wanted to do. I wanted to go and do something else. But because the money came in and the opportunities started coming in, we went with it. But I didn't want this. And that made him feel a certain way. And I had to encourage him to say, look, everybody has a curve, man. Everybody has a way that they have to get through in life.
Everyone has their own journey.
Yeah. And I was like, you just was fortunate enough to be at the right place at the right time. But that doesn't downgrade what they're doing. Maybe they want to start from the bottom and work their way up because there's more knowledge in that, you know what I'm saying, for them. Or maybe they wanted to go to school and do that. But you also got to remember some of these people that are working with you, that are working for you, their parents are your boss. So what's that say? You know what I'm saying? So you have to also look at it that way,
I didn't
right?
even think about it like that. But yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I mean, I think a lot of those positions that, some of these, I guess, higher tier actors and actresses, I mean, I would say, do you think a lot of them maybe got in because of just pure talent and they were right place, right time type deal?
You want me to be honest?
Or do you think a lot of them maybe did what you said?
25% of them. Out of 100, I think 25% got in.
On raw talent.
On raw talent.
And the rest are just do this
It's
favor.
either the school you went to, the agencies, or the people that you affiliate yourself around, you being close to celebrities. So you may be relatives, or you may have just came up and have been around them and got the opportunity, or something you did was recognized and it made you a success. So it wasn't that you had to work for it. It's just you were doing something that made you pop.
Would you go as far as to say it was given to them?
Yeah. A lot of them are. And I'm not saying that there's not none that work talented. There are some.
Yeah, but I mean, I know there's a lot of celebrities that they're groomed from a child because of who their parents were.
True.
Right.
So they've been groomed from a child to be prepared to be put on screen, and they didn't do anything. And, they may not even be that talented, but because of who their parents are, their uncle is, that, they say, well, I want to act. And they say, okay, fine, we're going to groom you to act, and then we're going to put you on screen, and then now you're an actor.
Now, are we talking A-listers, or are we talking just A-listers in the industry and period?
A-listers.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Yes, it was who they knew or who they were affiliated with. Because you got to remember, it's a small circle.
It's a very small circle.
It's a very small circle.
Yeah.
So to be able to get to that level, there's only certain ways you can get to that level, right?
Okay.
But to work in the business, it's going to require some talent. It's going to require some skill. It's going to require some education. It's going to require that.
Okay.
But to even get to that level, sometimes it's all about where you went, who you know, how you did it. Because if I go to a prestigious school, right? Mm-hmm. And the teachers that I work through have connections in the business. The graduate school I went to has businesses. The sororities or fraternities I joined have certain connections. So it's also about networking in that aspect as well.
Yeah.
But if I'm someone who's coming in straight raw, have no affiliates, no connections, I have to go the hard way, work from the bottom and work myself up just to be even acknowledged or even looked at as someone who can work in this business.
And you may have more talent than all of them.
All of them.
Put together.
But you have to first be discovered. You got to be looked at. You got to be seen. You got to have, and then in that aspect, even if you are talented and you are seen, you need somebody to vouch for you.
Yeah.
You got to have someone to vouch for you as well.
That validation.
Yeah, because that goes a long way.
But don't you think that's kind of changed now?
It's going to. Oh, I believe it's going to.
So you think the whole film trade system is going to change now?
I
because
believe so.
It's just different now. Like I don't really think you have to be discovered anymore. I think
that's what I'm saying.
I think being discovered now is just if you can just get enough people to pay attention to your page.
I really believe the A-list level
visible.
is going to be.
I don't know if that makes you discovered.
Please elaborate.
Hold up, say that again.
Yeah, please
say
elaborate.
that one more time.
Yeah, say that again.
Because when you're talking about social media, he's like, I think that at this point, you don't necessarily need anybody because if you get enough followers, then that makes you discovered. And I said, no, that makes you visible.
Right.
That makes you stand up now to say, okay, I do have a talent, and all of these people agree.
Right.
Right? So I think to DJ's point, that's part of the shift, right? Mm-hmm. Because now it's not just, I am a kingmaker, right? I'm not that person I am that guy who makes people stars.
Right.
It is now a whole bunch of followers came behind someone and say, we all agree that this person is not only a star, but if you put him on the big screen, I would pay and support financially behind that. So now you have money and a financial backing that has power and demand right behind it, just from social media.
Right.
So from that standpoint, there is actually a shift.
Right.
Because now it's not people in back rooms making all these deals, with social media, but now they flip that because now people can now pay to get followers. Right. So now when those numbers are so high, is it that genuine? Right.
Because they do go by numbers. They do go by number statistics because there's a book that I kind of got this topic off of that we used to read in college called The Adventures of the Screentrade. And basically it was a book that really educated you on how screenplays and stuff are developed and how back in the 70s or so, I think it started around the 70s. I think this book was what year is it say it was?
It was 1970. Goldman did hours of interviews with John Brady for a book that became The Craft of the Screenwriter, 1981. Some of Goldman's answers were edited into a magazine piece for Esquire.
Okay.
It was like the 1970s.
Right, and so the different levels of his book, he talks about there's one portion of a book where he breaks down how the top 10 actors that were the top 10 actors. We're talking about Clint Eastwood. We're talking about
John
Wayne. Like at 1 year, these were the top 10. Within the next 2 to 3 years, maybe 3 of them was still on that list.
Damn.
Because
so everyone else just fell off,
right. It's because of the business. It's how the trade works.
They look at the
ratings, how people are attracted to one person more than the other, what films were chose for them, was it right, was it wrong, you know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of politics going on, you know what I mean, to the point where you could be an A-lister for a year, then you could be no one within 3 years. And a lot of times but this is where I have a twist to it, because I believe, this just is me, there's a part of it that's out the window. It's more about it being the paper trail, the paperwork, the
accolades,
the accolades, the list, the polls, what people feel, how people are coming to see your
amount
movies.
of money it brought in.
Okay. I also believe
definitely box office. I know that probably plays a very big
role, right? But I think there's a curve there, because I do also believe it's about who you are connected to, because Hollywood can make you a star if they want to make you a star.
Yeah, easily.
And they can keep you there if they want to keep you there.
Easily.
Right?
Very
Whereas
easily.
in us as independent artists or people coming up now in this era right now of social media and so forth, I don't need so much Hollywood to make me a star. Because right now, I could go online and create something funny and that thing go blast stream and Hollywood had nothing to do with it.
Right.
I made myself, perfect example right now is DC Young Fly.
I was just
This
thinking
kid
that. Yep.
is a success without Hollywood. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He's not Hollywood at all.
You know what I'm saying? Worked up his way up, and now he's somewhere. Even the 85 South Show, those cats, all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've been able to
Chico
create a
Beans,
name.
all of them, yeah.
Yeah, and so now when the quarantine hits, we're now back to our bread and butter. So now this is a level where I can step away from the celebrities and do something that they can't do, because this is what created me. I went on YouTube, created my show.
Vine.
Right?
Yeah.
I went on Instagram,
TikTok.
created my thing. So now when there's no Hollywood, how many of these actors that are in Hollywood can stay relevant without films? Without TV shows?
Right. They don't
without
have
anything
current.
to put their face out there. So now you got to figure out a way how to
Live.
social media yourself
Yep.
and be relevant. But the ones who have been doing it, they'll become the new stars because they have been doing it and that's how they got here. So now I am the celebrity now because everybody's coming back to where I started. You know what I'm saying?
But I mean, like, do you think it's gonna get to a point? Because I mean, apparently Hollywood's not opening back up this year.
Yeah,
That's what it looks like.
Right.
Like Hollywood's shut down for
Right.
the rest of this year.
Yeah.
Right.
So do you think that celebrities, like A-listers, like, I mean, I don't even think Leo DiCaprio, I don't even think he has an Instagram, does he?
Well, I mean, if he does,
Like, I mean, think
don't
about
know.
it. You've never
He's
seen
not posting
Robert
the
De
same
Niro.
way.
No,
Like,
no.
you've never seen any, like,
Al Pacino.
super stars on Instagram talking to people. This is
right.
like,
Well, that's because they're already at a level where,
I mean, I would say those people don't even have to work anymore.
and they're relevant no matter what.
Yeah.
Because they're
So
such
they're-
a big name
right,
that
so
they're
their
relevant
name
no
will
matter what.
never go away.
Now the question is,
do they want to continue to get money?
exactly, because like I said, Denzel, I haven't seen him on social media ever. I don't know if I've ever seen
He's
Denzel
done a few.
Washington
He's
do
done
it.
a few interviews on YouTube, but I mean, I think it was still like.
But they're interviews. Like
Yeah.
I don't see him on Instagram. I don't
It's
see him
not
on
him
Twitter.
going.
think
He's
he
not
has
going
it.
live.
Right. He may
you
do
know?
Twitter, but I
but
don't
that's
see him
why I
on
was
Instagram.
surprised with how Will Smith's all over the internet.
Right.
But I mean, there's.
But keep in mind,
Dude, I
he
saw
was,
OJ last night on YouTube. He got his
Wow.
own Instagram channel.
He does. He does have an Instagram channel, and it's,
What?
it's actually kind of
Yes,
wild. I
O.J.
follow
Simpson.
him, and
Yes.
I feel kind
You
of bad.
follow
I do.
O.J.
Boy, I was
Simpson.
watching a lot of his.
I mean,
I'm
you
sorry.
gotta follow.
You
the
got
juice.
to, man.
You gotta
It's the
follow
juice.
the
The
juice,
juice
man.
is loose.
It's the juice is loose, right? And he be putting his 2 cents in on everything, and it's
he be
funny.
with,
dog.
he be with a bunch of white
Right,
bitches.
right.
I'm like, didn't y'all learn?
Oh my god, it's funny because I be looking like
Damn.
Juice is doing it. Juice said I got
Yeah.
out of prison and now I'm doing my own thing.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
But I mean, people like Eddie Murphy or something, you'll never catch him.
no, because
Martin Lawrence.
they're way too relevant.
So you think your name can be too big to go on to social media?
No,
Do you
I don't
think
think
that?
it'd ever be too big, but it's the concept of they respect their privacy enough that even in a level of quarantine,
Mm-hmm.
I don't need for y'all to see what's going on in my life. Not saying this is what they're saying, but I'm saying
Right.
they're at a point in time where it's like, yo, I still want to keep my privacy. I'm not about to change up my where I find my serenity because I have no work. No, some of them you hear them tell them, they're like, boy, I ain't had this much rest in a long time, but I'm enjoying this quarantine, man. I get to spend time with my family, see my kids. So like a lot of the sports players, they're always running so much that this quarantine
yeah.
helped them actually get a chance to really enjoy
NBA?
life. But that's the concept of the topic today that I'm really trying to address. Is that when we say origin, we're saying this has been going on since the beginning. This is the way the game has been for so long that when you're an A-lister or when you're at this specific level, that even in that level there are games being played where there are trades and like you said the barter system or currency
favors.
of this script carries weight, because let's be honest, everybody remember, scripts aren't just written to be written. if they spent $4 to $5 million on a script, and when it comes out, you're like, oh, that was a whack film. Why? That wasn't no
Why did
great.
that happen?
Why
Yeah.
you think they put that out? That's all the time we have for Hot Topic. We want to thank you guys for joining us. All right. Stay tuned for Keith with That Real on What They Don't Tell You podcast. B Squad's in the building.
What they don't tell you.
What they don't tell you.
What They Don't Tell You podcast.
There's so much going on in the industry that I'm sure you've got questions that you want to ask us. So why not send us an email at WTDTYglobal@gmail.com.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Keith with That Real Spiel. All right, y'all. So today I want to kind of talk about something that's been on my mind for a little while. I want to talk about industry beef. Okay. Like, and when I say industry beef, I mean, like, we already know that rap is like the icon of beef. Like, they kind of started that beef shit. But I want to talk to you guys about how it seems that beef has now kind of overflowed into comedy.
What?
Yeah, there's a lot of comics that are like straight beefing with each other. You gotta think Arius Spears and Mike Epps are beefing right now. You gotta think Kevin Hart and Cat Williams
for the
went
record,
for a while.
Aries said he's not beefing with him. Right, they had a debate that got kind of out of hand.
But Mike Epps was like, "I'll whip your ass."
Yeah, now Mike has an issue.
Well, I don't know if you know this about Mike Epps, but Mike Epps will pull up on you and swing on your ass. I think
wow. Really?
Yeah, this was maybe a few years ago. Allegedly, Mike Epps, someone was telling his material at Uptown Comedy Corner, and Mike Epps pulled up and whooped his fucking ass.
What?
Like, straight up, because he was in there doing his material.
Damn.
But what I wanted to ask you guys is, beef, like, have y'all seen beef like that, like in the modeling industry or in the acting industry? Because, like, I mean, like, straight, like, just hating on each other.
Acting, yes.
Yeah?
You got
Okay, go
actors
ahead.
that do not like other actors.
Yeah,
You've
that's
seen
true.
it.
That's true.
But how? You guys are all faking the funk anyways.
Yeah, well.
But I mean, it's stuff behind the scenes. It's the way you do business.
Right.
And then I was like, and sometimes it's like, you know, you were up for that role, but you ended up not getting it. And the
Right.
other person ended up getting it. And you felt like it was yours.
Yeah, or you'll talk, you've influenced a producer or a director to not fuck with the other actors. So now I got beef with you because you put
messed
some
with the
bullshit.
money.
I mean, y'all remember there was a time, Jada Pinkett and Gabrielle Union had some issues.
I remember
in the
that.
past.
I do remember that.
Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
I'm not saying if it was beef.
I mean, it
but
was allegedly, but
Yeah.
I do remember seeing stuff in the media about them kind of going tit for tat, back and forth at each other.
Wow.
And what about in the model industry, Keisha? Have you ever seen like models kind of just
what
hate on
in the back, half naked fighting? You ain't shit.
This is
Okay,
what
so
you
I guess
just
that would be
decided.
that would be like a high beef area.
What?
Oh, I mean, stuff happens backstage. Absolutely. But I was like, it's interesting because I was like, you know, but the show just has to go on, right? So you might be fighting, but you need to be.
So you mean to tell me y'all be behind that curtain and you're like, beat your ass, and you come out, you're like, you're like ready to go.
Walk.
Wow.
Well,
You remember the movie Dreamgirls?
Oh no, wait a minute. Yeah, but see, that was still that in real life.
And what was the other one? Showgirls.
Dreamgirls was not real life.
Yo, Showgirls. Now that was some beef.
I'm saying the concept of they'll show you there's issues in the back with like singers and singers,
right?
Or dancers and dancers having issues.
I mean, people have problems.
Hurting other people just to get to the top. So in Showgirls, remember she pushed her down the steps.
She threw the beads.
Yeah.
She threw the beads on the floor so she'd slip and break her leg.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's a lot of that in the industry too. I'm gonna get you fucked up so I can get that role.
Damn.
Nothing personal, just business.
Wow.
So like
skaters, Nancy Kerrigan and the
Yes,
Tanya Harding.
Nancy
the
Kerrigan.
ultimate beef.
Now
but
that
Tanya had her movie made.
She
Tanya.
did.
Whatever
She
happened
did.
to Nancy Kerrigan? Like Tanya has stayed relevant somehow.
I wouldn't go as far as relevant, but she definitely told her story.
Like more popular. Like people know.
Yeah,
like you see
people
her.
do know
you know
Tanya
her story.
Harding is because of that for sure.
And she said she kind of came off on there saying that the guy who attacked Nancy Kerrigan kind of did it on his own. She wasn't the one told him to go do it.
Right.
He was doing it to defend her, but it wasn't something that she wanted. You know, who knows? It's allegedly, but
exactly.
You know,
well, no one will ever know.
But they
the
said,
truth.
and they said Nancy Kerrigan wasn't such a angel herself. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
I
you
know-
got
I
to
know
deal
in
with
that
that
movie,
where people think they too good for people. And,
Right.
They'll
Well,
treat people
I do like
nasty.
that about that movie, Tanya. That it kind of it allowed her to tell her side of the
side
story,
of the story, yeah.
because it did show Nancy. She was kind of a bitch,
right?
You know, she was like. She was really fucked up, so
Yeah.
I like the fact that she was able to kind of tell her side of it. But that's crazy. I guess that goes to show that beef just isn't in rap anymore. It can be all over the industry.
Yeah.
So I guess what I want to
I'm sure artists like painters have some issues with each other too. Yeah.
There's no way, DJ. You mean to tell me two people painting on the canvas are like, yo, fuck his painting?
Yeah. I hate that. I hate that cocksucker.
No.
Why does he sound like that though,
Right,
bro?
that's
Why
what
does
it's
he
like,
sound
no.
like
Just because
that?
I don't know, a lot of the painters I know are foreign. So.
Wow.
But no,
okay.
but I mean, like, you know, it's in everything. It's in anything. You know what I mean?
So I guess that just goes to show that, you know, haters are everywhere.
Everywhere.
No matter where you go.
That's right.
Okay, so
man.
I guess I'm saying all of that to say this. You guys, to be honest with you, this industry is big enough for all of us. Let's not hate on each other. Let's not pull each other down. Let's try to find a way to put each other on. Let's find a way to build each other up, especially in times like this. The more that we unite, the more we can take flight.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying, my brothers and sisters out there? So this has been Keith with The Real Spill, and I really wanted to get this off my chest, DJs. I've had to deal with beef in the comedy industry, and I think it's the dumbest shit in the world, because the one thing about comedy that I love so much is it's supposed to bring joy and laughter to everyone.
Right.
So especially to a lot of you comedians out there that I look up to personally. Like, I look up to Mike Epps and Arius Spears, and I look up to these guys, and I'm like, you know, set a better example for us, man. Like, comedy beef is the dumbest shit I've ever heard of in my life. Like, because it's just something that's kind of unheard of. Like, comedy is the one place that you really didn't ever hear of beef. But recently, you've heard about it a lot. So, you guys, thank you for tuning in. This has been Keith Vance with The Real Spiel. I'll holla at you next week. Peace.
All right, Keith. Appreciate it, man. Y'all stay tuned. What They Don't Tell You podcast. B Squad's in the building.
What they don't tell you. What they don't tell you.
What they don't tell you.
Podcast.
All right, and welcome back to What They Don't Tell You podcast. We're having a good time today, but unfortunately, the show must end. We want to thank you guys for joining us, and just remember, you can catch us Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. on the East Coast, 8 a.m. on the West Coast, and 6 p.m. International on Live 365 Anthem Tongue Radio. All right? Once again, this is the What They Don't Tell You podcast, and we want to thank you for putting the global and WTDTY. We are your hosts, DJ Mifflin,
Keisha Williams,
and Keith Vance.
And we are the B Squad. Until next time, guys. B Squad's in the building.
Real news about real topics. That's what I like about this show.
Or mode for the most sincerest expression.
So it's truth and jest. I pride myself on saying real
What They Don't Tell You podcast.
People don't even notice I'm saying.
I'm just using your gifts as a vehicle.
They can feel it, but I don't think they really know. But they feel it, because when people come up to me, they say it. I love that.
I was looking for advice from people in the industry how to not have to compromise.
Ooh, boy, it's hard to be woke. What They Don't Tell You podcast.
How do I do this without having to compromise who I am, what I represent, what I want to share, how I impart my gift? It's my real truth.
Is that even fucking possible? Am I allowed to say fucking? Bleep that out.
What They Don't Tell You. What They Don't Tell You.
What they don't tell you.
Podcast.